Welcome to the House of Legends podcast, where great women become exceptional. I am your host, Graciela, founder and CEO of the House of Legends by Graciela, a mindset coach and mother of three beautiful kids. My mission and passion is to provide you with the tools that will allow you to unlock and bring out the best version of yourself, which is the key to all change. Some of those tools are mindset, identity work, and emotional mastery. Not only that, but I will also bring you powerful conversations with legends like you, showcasing their journey, life work, and allowing us to learn from their experiences and insights. So don't miss an episode. Tune in each week to the House of Legends podcast and let's unlock the power of your own legend. Let's dive in today's episode. Welcome back to the House of Legends, where great women become exceptional. I am your host, Graciela, and in today's podcast, I do have a beautiful, amazing, I love even her skin is just so glowing right here. This beautiful guest, if you're watching this via YouTube, you can tell. If you only listen this, the energy is going to say it all. Her name is Nicola. She's a mentor and guide for entrepreneurs and leaders. She also has 18 years of experience on business and marketing. When I was seeing that, I was just like, wow. I mean, how old are you? Like, I mean, she looks like 25, like 18 years. Like, I need to do the math again, right? She's also a teacher and also a student of human design, and I love that. By the way, I'm a manifestor 113, so now you can tell more about me right there. She's also a Reiki teacher, so she has a lot of wisdom and a lot of tools that she get to bring into her practice. And the thing that I love from you, Nicola, is that you're combining the energetics, the frequency, and also the strategies. You're not only seeing one part of the spectrum, you're combining everything. And I think in this new in the last few years, business has changed a lot, and we are looking for someone that is, I'm not going to use the word capable because we're all capable, but we look for someone that take in consideration every single plane, and you are one of them. So if you can introduce yourself and who you are and what led you to where you are right now after 18 years of experience of that is mind blowing. Like you look like 25. I was like, how this happens, right?
I love you. So thank you so much for the kind words. And actually, I was doing the math the other day
Okay.
and I was like, oh my God, it's actually 20 years in experiencing business, being in-house in businesses, being an entrepreneur for the last 7 years, consulting and doing all the things. And I appreciate you so much for saying that I look 25.
You're starting at 5.
I love it because I'm 40 this year. So, I'm here, I'm down with that. Thank you. Appreciate you. Gorgeous woman. So thank you so much for, inviting me in here to, not that I need an invitation because I'm not a projector, but for extending the invite to have this conversation because yes, it hasn't always been this way. I agree with you so much that business is changing and has changed and is continually evolving.
Yeah.
And that, who I am, this question always kind of,
It's like,
it kind of floors me because I'm not any of those things, like, as in, I am
got
not,
it.
do you know what I mean? Like that, these things don't define me. I am a soul. I am here to guide and lead women in business. Like that is my purpose. And around that, it is actually, it's evolved. You've got me in an evolved state, even in the last month. I'm working with women who are successful on paper, who might look like they have it all,
Okay.
and they feel like they want to burn it all to the ground because they are not content. And they are more than likely misaligned and off-piste when it comes to the frequency, the mindset, the energetics, and that subconscious piece. So it's like my mission, I suppose, and what I'm here to do is to, with my toolbox, with my experience in business, is to help women in business who are heart-centered, who are doing who started off doing their business for all those right reasons, right? To actually recalibrate and reset their energy so that they fall back in love with that, so that they are like focused on the successes that they actually give a shit about. And sometimes that isn't the money, right? The money is a byproduct of that. And the money doesn't necessarily make you happy. And because, and I say that, it's really interesting because I've been traversing this a little bit myself in terms of freedom. So we do what we do because we want to impact, we want to serve, but we also want the freedom. And with that, obviously, is like financial freedom and all these things, but also the freedom within ourselves.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And so it's kind of, yeah, it's shifted lately for me in terms of how I serve.
I love the fact, and you mentioned something really amazing, that many of us, when someone asks us who you are, right? Like it's like, I am a mindset, I am a mom, I am a daughter, and we have all the labels, and that is okay, right? Because it's just a way to put something out there. But I love the fact that you're identifying, you know what, I'm a soul, and those are the things that I get to do, or the things, or my toolbox, but it's not who I am. It's not actually, it's part of me, but it's not who I am. I love that. It's something that many of the listeners will appreciate, because sometimes we feel like we are that label, and without that label we don't feel like who we are, right? So you getting back in with that, and help us to have a better understanding of that. You're not those tools. You are a soul. You are here to serve. You are here with a purpose. That is so beautiful. And you mentioned as well about helping now entrepreneurs, women that are on paper. We feel, and this is one of the reasons that I created the podcast as well. We see only the shiny pictures on Instagram, Facebook all day. Like, I'm making 20,000 millions in a day, not even a month, in a day, and I do have this and I do have that. But when it comes to having all the quadrants of of feeling freedom, are we really having those? We really feel free within? And if we are not feeling that, we are missing a huge part of the puzzle as well. So, and having this kind of right now business that people like you helping us to understand that it's more, that we can go in depth and have it all like in one, right? So,
You know, and I think that what people want
yeah,
has changed. And so like everyone's version of success and freedom is different.
yeah,
So, you know, freedom for some of us might look like, you know, working 2 days a week and earning enough to be able to pay the bills, to be able to school our children, to be able to, you know, eat organic food. It might be quite simple, but it's like that is success to them. And then they want the rest of their week, the other 5 days, to be in freedom and flexibility. And that is what they've set up with their partner or their life. And that is all that's what they want. And I think there is this shift happening around it not just being monetary. And when we actually understand our soul and our purpose, and I know that soul and purpose are kind of out there and quite loaded, but this is why I love human design, right? It's like tap into that energetic blueprint. We can look at who you are, and we can look at what's important to you and what your gifts are, and you can start creating from that place. And you are in your, you know, you're in your happy place and you're content, and you're aware of where you're conditioned and where you might be more exposed and more susceptible to the outside world, making you something that you're not. And then you can come back into alignment. And, you know, we may think, because of the way we're conditioned, especially in business, that we need to be earning, have a 7-figure business and all of these things, when actually you can have a 7-figure business and be miserable. This is why I think it's so important for my work and my mission is to actually help those who are, like I say, successful on paper, but don't feel it anymore, aren't connected, are disconnected, are burnt out, are ready to fucking blow it up. Sorry, can I swear?
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
She asks after she swears.
It's all good.
Here for the F-bomb. Just saying.
I
But
will.
this is it, right? Like the shiny object syndrome of social media, as well as shifting. Equally, the way we use tools, because social media is a tool, right?
Yeah,
So
it is
we need
another tool. Definitely.
it's a tool that we use, and everything is energy. There's energy of that. So how do we use that tool? How do we not, how do we use it and work with it and create that relationship with it and not be a slave to it?
I love
How
it.
do we utilize that energy that we have and the relationship that we have with, humans and our tools in order to feel good about what we do and how we create?
I love those powerful questions. And I think if the listeners, if it just can just after, of course, listen to this conversation, just explore or contemplate and just ask themselves those questions, I think that they can just figure out if they're being putting their attention or even putting their energy in the wrong, I'm not going to say wrong, but in the things that are not actually helping them advance, right? Or actually are taking just energy that they can just redirect to another thing. I would love to ask you something, Nicola. And I've been asking this question quite a while in the last interviews that you right now you what I was seeing in your page, like you now have a beautiful business, are you using those tools like human design, you have a lot of experience in marketing and business, but I would love to know, like, and I think the listeners will really appreciate this. I know you were 5 when you started this, right? Like you're 25. Like just going back to the fun part. How you start? I mean, where were those tipping points that led you to where you are right now? Because sometimes and especially when we're beginning or when we are making our transition, we think like, okay, I need to learn human design and then strategy and then this and that, this and that. It's like how was your evolution? And if you can share it real quick here with us.
Oh my God, yes. Disclaimer, everyone. I have not always been this person. This is one of the things that I feel
That's what I'm just let the sect right here.
totally like it's one of the things that you feel really strongly about. When we are looking at others, we believe and we see them where they are. We
Yeah.
forget that they've been through what they've been through to get there.
Mm.
Now, have I always been like this? No. Have I owned and claimed my place as I've gone through my entrepreneurial journey? At times, yes. Always, no. Even in the last kind of 6 months, that's been difficult. Do you know what I mean? It's like whenever we up level, whenever we are progressing, whenever we are shifting the trajectory and we are changing that and the winds are changing and we're choosing a different route, the stuff still comes up. And so I'm here now in beautiful energy and I'm sharing from my heart and I'm coming from a place of like right here, right now. But no, it wasn't always like that. So I used to I worked in corporate. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I was doing things on the side. And when we moved here, I decided to consult and work for myself. I didn't even call myself a business owner.
Okay.
Because I didn't like the word entrepreneur. I felt like everyone was an entrepreneur. I was
Mhm.
like, I roll,
Yeah.
And it wasn't until it was probably about 3 years ago that I thought, this is a hobby right now. I have to treat it with the respect and the energy that it needs as a business. And that wasn't like I did that and overnight. It was a transition and I was freelancing and consulting in marketing and comms. So I've been in the business world, I've been in marketing and comms, I have seen how the difference of when you market and communicate and position a business that is product versus a service versus a one woman or small business, and how you do that differently. And I have a lot of the how under my belt.
Rebel, yeah.
Now, knowing what I know, so for the listeners, I know a lot about marketing communications. I hold my hand up, and I've said this so many times, that I have been the worst at being the marketer and the communicator and the salesperson in my business, because I found it super comfortable to do it for other people, but I found it really challenging to do it for myself. So when you're starting out, it's like, you know, that question, like, if you knew what you know now, what would you do differently? I would learn human design. I would understand myself,
Yeah.
in terms of what lights me up and what doesn't, and focus my energy towards that in business, and get the support that I need outside of that. Because I think that when people are starting out, and I've seen this with clients, I've seen this, and I've seen it with myself, but when people are starting out, they think they need to do everything and be everywhere, and they think they don't have enough time. And then when they look at their phone usage, they're like, shit the bed, I have been on Instagram for like 7 hours today. Like, what the hell? And you know, you can fall into that comparisonitis that can happen when you understand your energetic blueprint, and you understand where your skills and your natural abilities lie, and you approach what you are, you know, what you are creating, if you're in the creating offer stage, what you are marketing or selling, and when you approach that with an understanding of you as the conductor and the driver of your business, it's a very different experience than when you are listening to how somebody else does it, or also like being guided by somebody who doesn't understand you and your energetic makeup. It's a very different thing.
Yeah, I would love to. There's two questions specifically when you were sharing this, and I really appreciate that you went deep, because at the final of the day, and I share as well, as this is part of my life work as well, that it doesn't matter what strategy, it doesn't matter all the things, like someone can give you all the things, all the guidance to have the best mentor, but if you don't know yourself, if you don't know your energetic blueprint, what makes you tick, what makes you vibrate, what this and that, it's not gonna work out. You're gonna try to mimic something, and it could work for a while, but at the final of the day, you don't gonna feel aligned. I would love to ask you this first. When you mentioned that, damn, God, I've been working for the last 20 years. I've been doing a lot of my marketing and helping other people and all that. I know you mentioned that 3 years ago was like the aha moment or the turning point for you. Like, this is no longer a hobby. This is a piece of art. This is my business. And start to treating that as a separate identity, create an identity of the business, right? But when was that specific aha moment that, oh my God, I've been treating my business as a hobby? And from there, when you like, and those aha moments just come like from some, even from simple situations, or it could be something really like shocking, right? And I would love to know what was that moment. And from there, I know your identity has had to shift as well, because you needed to start seeing yourself as the business owner. And how was that for you, that work as well? So
That's a great question. So I actually shared about this on my stories this week, so I was really reflective. So the last few years, we moved geographically within the Netherlands. I'm from the UK, but I haven't lived there for 16 years. We moved from New Zealand here, and we moved geographically. And obviously, you know, the times that have been over the last few years have been all sorts of all sorts of tests for all of us, right? And I'm an MG. I'm a manifesting generator. I like lots of different things. I am a Gemini. I'm like, you know, I love learning. I love being in the experience, and being the student and being the teacher. And, you know, I was like all of these different things. And I feel like I was like, and I'm a 6 line in human design. So I was like, gathering all of this, like gathering all this experience and and also looking longingly over the fence at people who were doing business the way that I knew in my heart I wanted to. But I had these beliefs that I wasn't qualified, or that I didn't, who was I? And people were doing these and all of this stuff, right, that was going on. We moved geographically, and it was kind of like a dark night of the soul,
Mm.
death and rebirth, which I lost myself. I was in an energy of codependency, which I had never been in before.
Mm.
We'd moved.
Okay.
I felt restricted because of the times we were in. I'd made choices that I was like, fuck, I've got to sit in these choices. And one of the choices that I made at the beginning of 2020 was to go all in on my business. And then 2020 happened. 2021 was shit. It was really shit. And at the end of 2021, I was like, there was this pivotal moment where I knew that I had allowed myself, and I had been through like deep learning and deep healing and all of this stuff. So there's like no regrets there. But it was the end of 2021 when I really had this moment of, this has to change now.
Mm.
And the ownership of what business looked like,
Yeah.
that was like I began to claim it, and the reclamation of that wasn't like a whoom catapult. It's been these pieces, it's been this alchemization over that time. Like I can go into a room and and literally be like, this is what I demand when I'm in my marketing, communication, facilitation space, working within business where I'm really comfortable in. I found it difficult to claim my space
I see. Okay.
in that part of my business, in
Mm.
this business. And so that was like a real pivotal turning point for me. And it has just been building and building and building since then.
And thank you for sharing that, because like like we can say, and as you mentioned before, we can know what is best for others or working in others people's craft, but when it comes to us, it's like owning really our gifts and recognizing I do have a lot of experience, and also working in daily. I think this is one of the things that it never ends, working in ourselves. And
Yeah.
because sometimes we get to feel really, really confident, and there's sometimes like where a belief or a thought comes, and becoming aware of that and just moving through those things are the ones that are gonna help us to just move despite of
Yeah.
situations and circumstances. But the first point, like you said, is claiming and owning and deciding this is my business. This is no longer it's something I'm just doing the side. This is the thing, and I'm choosing to be the one behind this business. Not only
Yeah.
helping others, right? But I'm choosing to be the leader. And I think leadership takes also, of course, working on your identity as a business owner, right? But also leadership on taking fully radical responsibility of the no matter what situation we're sitting currently or before, right? It's taking radical responsibility. And when we do that, uh, ideas, people, situations as you join in because you are open for and you are now available for other things to come into play, right?
Yeah. And the work that personally, the work that I do with my clients is the work that I do daily and that I have chosen to do, and I've dipped in and out of in the past
Yeah.
because of, I've been inconsistent, but I know that when it's done, that helps me. So to your point, when it comes to beliefs, when it comes to thoughts, programming, the way that our subconscious is wired,
Yeah.
that is always good. Like 95% of our brain and our thoughts are subconscious, right? And that is solidified in us by the age of 35. only 5% is conscious. So we've learned all of these skills and these behaviors and these, we've been, and these accolades, and then we have this belonging, we have this like, oh, I should do this, and this is how the world works, and all of these things. And we are unpicking and reframing and creating new beliefs. Like, I'm doing that myself every day. And that is how I help my clients as well. It's a big part of helping my clients, because when we shine a light on that, when I shine a light on that, and those that I've worked with, because I've worked with incredible mentors and coaches and guides and teachers myself as well, when that light is shone, and you use that word, which I love so much, like radical awareness, radical honesty, and radical responsibility, when that is there and you're like, fuck, like, oh my God, this is really uncomfortable, because this is actually the truth. Do I sit and stay in that, or do I move through it?
Yeah.
Do I start to rewire my brain? Do I start to think differently, feel differently, do differently? And I do that. Like, it's not guru complex, like this is how you do it. It's like, it's the work. It's called the work because it is, and a practice because you have to do it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you as well as you mentioned that I'm doing this work on my daily basis, like, and I do believe that we attract people when we are in body or life work. We can know a lot of things. We can have 20,000 mentors, and that's amazing. I always have mentors, like they're supporting me. I do have one that I've been working like the longest 3 years in a row. So plus all the other mentors, but they can give me all the support and I feeling so good and inspired. But if I only remain in that frequency, the longest that it takes to the call, whatever, it's not going to work out. I need to be diligent and do my own. And that's it, because I'm going to track people's situations, not all at once, because sometimes we said, it's like at the gym. I always put this analogy. It's like, let's say you have to release, not lose, release 50 pounds. You go one day, 2 weeks, oh my God, I'm not releasing. No, it's not working. Yeah, it is working, but maybe for you, it's going to take 6 months or 8 months, right?
Yeah.
But it's also here. It's like, I've been doing the work. I know all these books. I do have the mentors. I already put for the strategy. Or maybe like someone like you mentioned, they already have amazing business and they're deciding to go in depth in their own work. It's not going to happen in one day. It's not going to happen by yesterday. It's a process. When we embody our practices, I'm not saying that we're going to do all the practices, because we have human design, Reiki, meditation, but when we utilize them on our daily basis, it don't have to be all at once. It could be 2 practices, whatever, right? Journaling, you name it, right? But when we are embodying those practices, those are becoming part of us, and that is the energy that we radiate to others, right? And people can unconsciously feel trust, because we are being that woman that is embodied, that, not that woman that is just doing lip work. I think that
that's a very different energy, right? And I use this phrase so much because, and I say it aloud to remind myself as well, that nothing is compartmentalized. So, when we look at our physical, our emotional, our energetic, and our spiritual bodies, and what we do for that.
Yeah.
If we are physically undernourished, then we are off piste. Now, but the trick is creating balance and wholeness in all of those areas, right? And so we all would have experienced to some degree when we have been feeling our most optimal, when we have been in the physical, when we're in that physical and we're like, I'm in that right now. Like this year, the start of this year, the energy side of things, everything is just feeling so good. I'm like, I have a really beautiful structure and rhythm, which is holding me, serving me, and allowing me to serve more. And I've been in this space where I haven't had that, or like I've been like all in on this thing and not in the mental or the emotional side of things. Like everything needs constant support and tending, because we are energetic beings, and because we are multifaceted, and because we are layered, and nothing is compartmentalized, because our relationships with our love partners, impact our relationships with our clients, impact the way that we show
Mm,
up to market and sell our businesses. Like it's all energy that is ever moving, right? And
yeah.
so this is why, if you aren't aware of it and you are focused on your business and you're like in this energy of like making money, doing the things, like that is your focus, but on the sideline your marriage or your relationship is like going to shit,
Mm,
something will give eventually and it will impact, because you might fall out of love with your business in that process because you're not tending to that relationship. Does that make sense? So it's like
yeah.
this it's an ecosystem that all works together. And that for me was like a fuck moment. Like, we have to look at everything that we do as the human that we are, the spirit and having the human experience, the soul having the human experience, and get real about all of those areas in order to be our most optimal and in our most peak performance and achieving what we want to achieve, whether it's small to one person and massive to the other. Who gives a fuck? Like, it's for you. But there is a requirement for us to be responsible about our, like, for our actions across all areas in order to be the successful business person as well.
Yeah, I think also memorize them to be in balance, just a balance in every single aspect, like balance and emotional, mentally, and having all those tools that we can just
Mm.
I'm not going to say gather because it's not about gathering tools. It's about utilizing those tools and becoming aware. Okay, in this area, what is the thing that I will. I'm not going to use the word need because we don't need nothing. But what is the mentor, the tool that is required in order for me to feel in balance relationships, balance in my business, my balance in my emotional, balance in my spiritual. And when we see ourselves as this and this holistic approach, everything gets to change. And like you
Mm.
said before, like every single area impacts another one, might as well just seeing ourselves in that and give us ourselves grace, because
Mm.
we can detect 2 or 3 areas that are just really fucked. But
Yeah.
really, and when it comes to that, it's like, okay, I know where I am. Cool. What can I do today? That's it. Nor trying to, um,
But Graciela, as well, this is the thing, right? Sometimes what we need to do is fuck all. Like, sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's
yeah,
shutting down the computer and just being silent or watching a film, or, if it's like, if you feel it's being attuned to you, calling yourself out as well if you are just putting things in the too hard basket, or if you have a subconscious belief or a mindset piece around not doing something or
yeah.
not committing, right? Equally, it's knowing yourself and your energy and giving yourself grace. I think, your name is part of that as well.
Great. Actually,
Giving giving yourself that grace and that period and that time to do what's needed, and whether that be snuggle up on the, go against the norm, snuggle
yeah.
up on the sofa and watch your favorite film and eat popcorn for like today, and then see how tomorrow is. If you are, like, we should on ourselves, and we put the pressure when actually that's where the force happens, and
Mm,
that's not our strength, that's not
yeah.
our power.
Yeah, that's so true. I think when we're going, I think you mentioned in when I was checking your live work, you mentioned is everything's just in the flow, and it's like a river, like beautiful river. When you enter into that beautiful river, your own pedal against the river, your trust,
I know how it feels
like
though, right? When we're
even
like,
if that river has rocks or like trees, whatever, you're always guided. They actually flow is gonna guide you, right? So. Oh my God, this has been an amazing podcast. And I would love to close up our podcast, Nicola. I would love to ask you this directly to the point. What is your superpower? What is that superpower of you that you are here to not only to offer to others, but that you consider that is your son of genius, your superpower, that thing that you feel really good about it, not coming from ego, but coming from claiming it as well, from owning that from your soul. What is your superpower?
Hmm. That is a great question. I believe
Yeah.
wholeheartedly that my superpower is really around being able to see somebody for who they are and bringing them back into that present and that right now. Because, and this is easier said than done,
Oh
I know,
yeah, of course, yes. Yeah.
for myself as well. But coming back to the moment, the breath,
Mm.
coming back to the pause, and then coming back to what it is that we are saying that we want, what we desire, and shining a light on the current situation in the present moment, and doing, being that space holder and that person to support you to actually bridge that and get there
Mm.
from a place of right here, right now, not the past. And you know what? That was something for me that I felt really, yeah, I felt like, how can I claim this? Like,
Owning it.
how
Just
do I own this?
yeah.
You know, there is a skill within me that allows me to be able to see somebody and bring them back in and then support their path towards, not do it for them, because it's
Yeah.
not my responsibility. And
Yeah, they have to walk back.
when we were a coach and all the things, but bringing somebody back into the right here, right now, into their body, shall I add, into their body is, I would say, a superpower.
That is so beautiful. I felt it while you were sharing it. I just felt it so good because just that is something amazing because it's having someone that is able to see the greater picture and hold that space and not only hold that space to walk with us. Don't doing the walk for us, right? Don't just like, but just to help us in that specific moment and that specific um in those specific seasons when we do require or we feel like in the transition mode or you name it. I think that is a beautiful thing, and the most beautiful part as well is that you own it, is that you know that you recognize it. I'm so fucking good at this, and excuse my French here. I'm so good at this, and this is my gift, and this is what I get to help people, and that is really, if I want it this way, and like you mentioned before, success looks different for every single one, but this is so valuable that is priceless. I can put any praise, any price, and the people that resonate with that are going to
Mm,
come. The other ones are going to be repelled, and that's okay. So but the first thing is just owning it, like that
yeah.
is beautiful. Thank you so
And I
much,
know, like
Nicola.
when I asked you, I was like, "What's your human design?" It's like the reminders, right? It's like right here, right now, like who you are right now. You are this energy, and you're a manifester. Like you're meant to go and trailblaze. You're meant to go and initiate. Like, don't be afraid to do that. In this moment, you have this is what you do. It's like go do it, and it's almost that empowerment is like such a such a
What?
loaded word, but it's yeah, it's saying remember who the fuck you are.
And yeah, go ahead and do it. Yeah, and thank you for reminding me that because sometimes either I was sharing this the other day as a manifestor, like without putting me myself that label, like either people love me or they're like, I don't want nothing to do with you, and that's okay. And at first, I was like kind of feeling like I need to please every single one because I'm not gonna be liked. But it's like once I understood that I'm not only helping myself, but I'm helping others. When I'm true to myself, I was like, fuck it. I mean, it
Yeah,
is what it is. This is what I have. If you don't like, awesome, just unfollow. And if you like it, welcome. Let's do something. That's it. So for me it was like owning that part as well. And for you, like a manifesto generator, you have a lot of gifts as well, like multi gifts. You can be in here and here and there. Just and you magnetize the people. When I asked you for the podcast, I was like, I'm gonna ask her. Like, I'm initiating. I'm gonna ask her, right? Because I felt called. I felt like you were actually calling me. You're magnetic to the opportunities. The opportunities come to you, and it's like, I'm just gonna ask her, what is the war
I'm so
situation?
glad you did.
And she says,
Thank
no,
you.
well, cool, that's it. But I'm gonna write. And but it is so beautiful having that understanding as well. Very well. Thank you so much, Nicola, for this interview. It was really amazing. And your energy, and like I said, this beautiful skin, beautiful face, like 25-year young woman,
Oh, I
right?
love you
But
even more. I'm going to tell my main man that. I'm going to say, oh,
like,
yeah, that's 25.
around 25, you have to be even more grateful about me. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
when I saw you, I was like, wow, you're glowing. I mean, I want your skin. It's so beautiful.
Right back at you, Babe Town.
So much. And all right, for the people that are listening here, like I'm going to put the information of Nicola either above or below of this video, also on the podcast. And thank you again, Nicola. It was really beautiful to have you. And we'll see you in the next. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence is greatly appreciated, and it truly means a lot to me. If you could support us by leaving a 5-star review, it will help us to connect with more extraordinary and influential women like you. With that being said, thanks once again, and let's look forward to an amazing and legendary week ahead.